Okay, so again, looking at how our Kali empty hand or Panantukan is weapons based, how some of the tactics, some of the movements, some of the techniques, concepts, etc., carry over, right? So we have a Western boxing base, understanding head movement, basic punches, good stance, and everything. But then we also have the weaponry. So here's an example, and we can use it in different ways, right? Sometimes we're in this grip, the call grip, or sometimes what they call sungab grip, or just the thrusting grip here like this. So one concept could be if I've got this in the right hand, he's right-handed, but he's going to grab with the left, right? I'm going to use this delineus, we call it, or directa, where we cut across, and then I'm going to use the waslik where I throw it out. Then I'm going to have to counter his incoming strike here, right? So when he crosses at me or grabs, see, I cut across and I open that up, but I need to be ready for the next thing coming, right? It's almost like an invite. If you look at it here, I go one and I scoop, right? I don't know what's coming at me, but I need to move forward, or I need to be ready for that next strike. Okay, that's one concept, right? I could also be using it, let's say I had it in the left hand, right? I could be using it to cut in to the forearm, or if I had it in this grip again, I cut and then same thing, I'm going to scoop it out. So again, these are just the principles. Or if I have it in the right hand, see, I'm using it to mitigate his forward movement. If I just thrust, he's probably not going to thrust at me, right? Maybe he will, but he's running into my blade. So I'm using this forward motion here to then set up the next movement, or give me a chance to start setting up my next movement or counter. So we do this exactly, or not exactly, but carries over into our empty hand concept. So if we're looking at, say, now if he's empty hand, we're looking at, say, a jab cross, I'm going to use my right hand similar to the knife, but I don't have the blade, but I am going to cut in and I'm going to attack the eyes here like this. Then I'm going to scoop this out, but look what I'm doing is I'm inviting his punch into my hand here, right? So similar like we did with the knife where we had to cut, now I'm going one and I'm killing that, and then coming back with that hammer fist, I can wrench the arm, break, and then follow up, right? So again, this is using that concept of this sliding one. See, I invite it, right? Because I scoop it out here, bang, he's running. It's almost like automatic. He's going to run into it. I'm just making sure I don't hit my partner's hand here, right? So I'm going over the top. From there, I'm hitting that hammer fist right on the jaw. I can just go right into my follow-up in the right lead. You can use whatever tools you want. Again, slide, intercept here, hit, right? You can go into the body, go to the head, and just keep moving, right? So one of the ways that we like to train this concept here, though, is this thing I call triangle defense. Usually I put gloves on them here, but we're going to go kind of light right now because we don't have any protection on. But you can really start to amp this up in your training, so you can really start to develop the eyes, right? Get used to seeing those punches. You add pressure, and etc. But I'm just going to kind of show you right now with Eric here what we're looking at doing, which is essentially this, kind of like a fence position, right? You got a lot of systems like Muay Thai and different things where they have this extended guard, and I can intercept. And this works great for anything where I want to clinch or trap, right, or get into a grappling scenario. But again, keep in mind it's offensive. The way we're going to demo it is more like a sparring drill, but that's again just to develop it. All right, so let's look at how we do this. So again, he's just going to be throwing me, starting with just the straight punches, where see, I'm just kind of intercepting, right? And right now, again, we don't have the gloves on, but he'll start coming at me a little bit more. Yeah. Now I got to get my positioning down. But again, keep in mind, every one of those is in the eyes, right? So I'm not going to do that to my partner. Obviously, he's not going to train me and he's not going to throw punches anymore. But right now, all I'm doing is just getting the arms to intercept, right? And barely moving, right? When he uppercuts, I cut it off. When he hooks, he's got the overhand, right? But this is just a good little drill to start getting the reaction down, getting the timing. Then eventually what I want to do is add my entries, right? So punch, punch, boom, right? If I eat it, lesson learned, I got to keep going. But that's why the gloves are better, right? So again, this is just, I call it triangle defense just because I'm sort of making this triangle position and I'm thinking center line, right? But that's going to be the application. So that's a way to start to breathe out or kind of expand the Panantukan set, right, that we did earlier when we slid, right? And we can use that in all kinds of contexts. right? But there's another example of the weaponry kind of leading into the empty hand, what we call Panantukan or Pongamut or Suntukan or Cadena de Mano, a lot of different names, call the empty hand.